Welcome to Your Family's Health, the program that focuses on healthcare issues with unique and different modalities for taking charge of your health today. Experts talk weekly with our continuing roster of guests from around the country and right here in Nassau County to keep you up to date on the latest health issues and trends. Take care of your mind, body, and soul. Spend the next half hour with the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC, and get on the journey to better health.
Hello and welcome to Your Family's Health. My name is Dr. Jeanine Cook-Garard from the nursing department here at Nassau Community College, along with Nassau Community College student Gina Peter. And today we're going to talk about hypnosis.
Today, we're going to learn about a company that provides traditional hypnosis and other hypnosis techniques to produce dynamic change and progress in improving our health.
Let's learn more about meeting our guest, Gloria Drewitz, a wellness advisor, board certified hypnotist, and program director at Restora Hypnosis, located in Hempstead Turnpike in Levittown, right here on Long Island. She is also the author of Restora Hypnosis, a faith-based journey for spiritual wholeness. Gloria, welcome to Your Family's Health on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Thank you so much. I am so delighted to be here.
We're glad to have you. So first of all, I hope you're personally doing all right in light of this pandemic. Have you been personally affected?
I don't think there's a person on the universe at this point that hasn't been affected.
Yeah.
But I think having some framework to work with, and during this time, I was enlisted to offer my skills. So I think having a foundation in hypnosis and some of the skills related really helped me to kind of navigate through it and remain grounded for my family and for my clients.
Wow. So let's start at the beginning. What is hypnosis? Can anyone be hypnotized?
Pretty much anyone that is seeking a change could be put into a relaxed state that allows contact with the unconscious mind. That is the mind that is beneath the conscious awareness. And sometimes people don't realize that this part of the mind really has a lot of power. And not being aware of the thoughts that are down there and the attitudes that are down there can really affect a person who's trying to go in a new direction.
So you said down there. What do you mean by down there?
Well, we have many, many thoughts that we think throughout the day and at any given moment. A lot of them are beneath the lake of our conscious awareness. We may not be aware that we have certain attitudes or certain beliefs. And it really takes somebody with some expertise to be able to excavate that. And that's what hypnotists specialize in.
Is there anything dangerous about hypnosis? Since we're going to the unconscious, is it like, can hypnosis make me do things that I don't want to do?
That's a very common misconception. But generally, no, because your will is in effect. And even if a person is seeking a change, if they don't really want it or they have deep inner conflict within them, then they will not follow through. However, a lot of hypnosis is about breaking people out of a trance. For instance, a person that is smoking, they may believe that they cannot stop. Or a person that wants to lose weight, they may have the belief that they can't conquer this issue. Or a person that lacks self-confidence may have beliefs that are untrue. So a lot of the times it's waking people up. We have a society that's tremendously hypnotized, and in many instances doesn't want to think and realize they have choices in how they react to situations. So I'm more concerned If a person is maliciously trying to influence somebody, yes, they could be preying on somebody's vulnerabilities. But that is in any field across the board. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, what comes to mind is, I guess the question is, can anyone hypnotize someone, since it's all about influence and it's all about the power, I guess, to change a person's behavior? Talk to me about that.
Well, people do influence people through their emotions and beliefs. There's marketing influences people through their emotions and beliefs. So I guess I'm not sure, not all power of influence is used for good.
Right.
So a person really has to possess their own beliefs and know who they are. And of course, if you're coming to somebody, anything that I do with somebody requires great trust, great trust. And we do, hypnotists do, we do practice ethics of working with people. And certain things are not appropriate, even though there's a wide scope of things that we can work with. A hypnotist nowadays needs to be knowledgeable, not to go into the territory that might require a psychotherapist or a physician. So it really, like we can't claim to heal people of their diseases. That wouldn't be an appropriate thing. But generally, we stay in the areas of boosting people's confidence, helping them make lifestyle changes. In that area, we can work in the belief system to help them acquire more positive beliefs towards the things that they want to accomplish, and until this point have been held back by negative beliefs, maybe that were formed in their childhood, negative self-image, images that they had about themselves since childhood. A lot of these things lurk in the unconscious mind. And if a person is really sincerely seeking a change, with the help of hypnosis and a skilled hypnotist, they can break through and overcome things that have maybe held them back a long, long time.
Tell me, when a person is being hypnotized, does that person remember the session and the suggestions that were offered to them by the hypnotherapist?
Well, sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. They are in a deeply relaxed state, but sometimes certain things will stick with them that are very, very helpful. I treat a lot of people for weight loss and stop smoking, and I am deliberately trying to impress upon their mind suggestions that will help them and will intercept their triggers. So sometimes they remember vividly, sometimes they remember impressions, and sometimes they're really, really conscious and remember word for word.
So what does hypnotize feel like?
It's different for everyone, and there are different depth levels of hypnosis. There are depth levels where people can actually have pain-free births and have surgery performed on them. That is a very, very deep trance, but that is not necessary for a general change. More likely, you just need to be in a moderately relaxed state where your body is still, your muscles are limp, and in this state, you're more receptive to forming new connections in your brain and maybe wiring your brain a little differently so you can choose a different response. So maybe if you're a cigarette smoker, or if you overeat, or if you can't motivate yourself to exercise, there can be a space that's created that helps you to form a new habit that is different than your previous habits, because human beings are just bundles of habits. And from a hypnotist perspective, thoughts are actually behaviors. And people get into behaviors, and as they get older, sometimes it's harder for people to make changes. I think we call that being set in our ways. So people really have to make a determined effort, and a good hypnotist can help them reinforce those new thoughts and behaviors and actually help them propel forward in the new direction that they want to go in. They can support them in that process.
You know, what you were saying before about waking people up, it makes sense when you're explaining hypnosis and some of the things that we're going through in our lives when we're not under a hypnosis, but, you know, the society and, you know, ads for smoking and weight loss, all hypnotizing us while we're awake. But you have this Restora Hypnosis. Can you tell me a little bit about this concept of hypnosis?
Well, Restora, I came up with that name because I wanted people to restore that inner strength inside them. And it really deals with the mind, the body, and the spirit. And I just was going in the direction of wanting to integrate more spirituality into my work, because I noticed that people that had a strong faith, they were more successful in achieving their outcomes. And there is evidence-based research that people that have a faith, that they have a spiritual connection, are more resilient when they face extremely traumatic, stressful situations in life.
So you talk about the connection of spirituality and hypnosis. Can hypnosis actually make someone more spiritual, if you will?
Well, there are many practices that are hypnotic in nature. Mindfulness is a spiritual practice that's not a religion. But the mind is an incredible spiritual tool that we can use. Visualization is one tool that hypnotists use. And when we visualize something, it can provide the emotional wherewithal to keep us going towards that dream. We know in the Bible, we were told that without a vision, the people would perish. So it's very important in life to hold on to your dreams and your dreams, and being able to see it in your mind's eye helps you move towards it and become reality.
You're listening to Your Family's Health on the voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC. My name is Dr. Jeanine Cook-Garard, along with Nassau Community College student Gina Peter. And today we're learning how hypnosis could help improve our health with our guest, Gloria Drewitz, a wellness advisor, board certified hypnotist, and program director at Restora Hypnosis, a company that provides traditional hypnosis and other hypnosis techniques to produce dynamic change and progress in improving our health, which is located on Hempstead Turnpike in Levittown. She is also the author of Restora Hypnosis, a faith-based journey for spiritual wholeness.
So I hear there's something called the 7 pillars. Can you explain what the 7 pillars are and what they're made of?
Well, in my book, I've used a framework to help people have a guideline to really help them stay grounded spiritually. And the 7 pillars are truth, consulting the divine for that ultimate source of truth. The second pillar is prayer, making an appointment to be in union with the divine. And some people make that connection through nature. The third pillar is surrender, just trusting that there are higher principles at work. The fourth pillar is committing to some kind of service, knowing that this is a key to a rewarding life and will help you focus on your spiritual bank account. The fifth pillar is fortitude, acknowledging the divine as your source of strength when you're in a crisis mode and you feel weak and like you can't go on. The sixth pillar is wisdom, consulting with the divine in your spiritual practice on how to handle life. And the seventh pillar is humility, knowing that we are not gods. We live in a culture that prizes success and self-mastery, but many experiences humble us. So it's just like what we've just experienced in the last year. So the spiritual way is to realize that it's a lot easier to change what's inside you than it is to change what's going on outside you in the chaotic world. And how is this connected to hypnosis? I've always felt it was sacred work for me. I always felt that way, that I was in a very sacred role and touching people in a very sacred place, their belief system. And I always considered that an honor to do this type of work, sometimes meeting people at a very critical point in their life. So I always took it quite seriously and felt very privileged to be in this role. I don't know if somebody in medicine, they're in life and death situation. Well, if somebody's destroying their health through bad behaviors, that can become a life and death situation. And if they get on a new path and they follow through, well, boy, is that rewarding to be a part of that.
Can you give me some example of how, particularly during this COVID pandemic, how we can use your book to empower ourselves to make the changes that we need to make to get through this pandemic?
The book uses visualization and affirmations, and the affirmations are replacement statements for the negative thoughts that you might be thinking. So it can be very helpful in that respect. And it also guides you through meditations to help you transcend your earthly challenges, and prayers that are meant to be a guide for connecting your heart to God. And a lot of people need support in doing this. And the book actually helps people that have gone through a crisis restore their identity, restore their purpose, restore their self-worth, and most importantly, have the ability to tap into that get up and go. Because I find right now people are having a hard time getting motivated and finding that hope again. So I think we all need courage and perseverance. And that's why I created this book during the pandemic, because I wanted to help people help themselves. Because all help is ultimately self-help.
So how did this pandemic change your practice?
Well, I saw people were in great need. And the reason why I did focus on the spiritual aspect was because a lot of people that didn't have that foundation in place were struggling more. And the bottom really fell out from under them. And I've been teaching self-care and wellness classes since that time to help people and support them in getting that grounding and that foundation back. And little by little, being able to rebuild themselves. We need courage at all stages of life to reset our attitude. And what I find in hypnosis, my main thrust is helping people change their attitude. And when they do that, they're greatly successful at solving their own problems.
How can someone with like a weight loss issue or smoking, how does hypnosis help them battle it?
Well, first and foremost, it strengthens their ego that they can conquer this issue. Ego strengthening is the foundation of a good program because it's very, very hard for people when they failed to try again in any type of situation. So to begin again is the most difficult thing. But a lot of people quit cold turkey, but there are those people that really battle something a long time. But if you can get them to fight on and not give up, they will see a victory in whatever they're dealing with. So basically, we strengthen the ego to show them that it is possible. And fighting through those valleys when they feel like giving up, just getting them to keep on keeping on, and maybe having more realistic expectations about, a lot of people give up. It's like all or nothing. So you get them to develop a sense of consistency if it's weight loss. If it's smoking or some other detrimental habit, you anchor them to the consequences of continuing on that way and what they have to lose by continuing on, what they have to lose in their relationships, their personal respect, and their health. And if they can really make that connection through the hypnotist's skill, they will succeed and they will not go back.
On your website, I saw something called sports hypnosis. What is that all about?
Well, peak performance is a specialty that we have at Restora Hypnosis. I am a competitive athlete myself, and the mental game when you are performing is very, very critical to remain in balance, to remain calm, to remain focused. These are things that a hypnotist can help, as well as helping business executives or people in healthcare to maximize their performance. So the applications of hypnosis are broad and growing and evidence-based. And one of the most wonderful things about it is natural. It doesn't involve chemicals. It involves using your own inner resources. And I think that's what really makes it special, a special practice.
Can you share any testimonials that you have heard from the clients that you have treated?
Well, my website is full of positive testimonials, but one from organizations, and I'm currently working with a group of women that are challenged. I've developed programs for people that have had incredible challenges, and by believing in themselves, by raising their self-esteem, by giving them hope, they can go places where they never dreamed that they could and accomplish great things. But one sticks in my mind. I worked with a gentleman. He was a 2.5 pack a day smoker, and he never thought he could quit. And he called me every year for 10 years to tell me that he was still smoke-free. And wow. I don't know if he was reacting to a post-hypnotic suggestion, but that was a wonderful thing to know that somebody who was really on a path of compromising his health with his smoking addiction was able to see that kind of success.
Does hypnosis help other addictions as well?
Well, as a hypnotist, we really keep it within the realm of smoking, and some people consider food an addiction. But you wouldn't be using hypnosis to treat a heroin addict or a cocaine addict, because if they were to take the suggestions, there'd be a physical withdrawal. So that would be beyond the scope of our practice. But, it could help on the recovery side, where people are recovering from addiction, especially the book that I wrote, people that are looking for a structure. But it wouldn't be the first treatment, because usually people with serious addictions, they need to be in a hospital under physician's care. But it has a place in recovery of helping people have a better self-image, helping people set goals, helping people reframe their negative past, and just gently close that chapter of their life and move forward.
So tell us, how do we get in touch with you if someone wanted more information?
Well, you can visit my website at www.restorahypnosis.com. There are many free resources that you can access there, and I will be providing very soon a free guide for people that want to host discussion groups on the 7 pillars on Zoom, because it can be very enriching to share your journey with others. And I will be kicking off some of those groups this summer. If you want any more information, you can call me at 516-242-4784 or visit restorahypnosis.com, and you can send an email there and the answers to any questions that you need.
Well, thank you for being here, Gloria Drewitz, a wellness advisor, board-certified hypnotist, and program director at Restora Hypnosis of Levittown, and the author of Restora Hypnosis, a faith-based journey for spiritual wholeness. We hope you stay safe and continue to stay healthy, and thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
This is Dr. Jeanine Cook-Garard from the nursing department here at Nassau Community College, along with student Gina Peter. And we want to thank you for listening to this week's edition of Your Family's Health.
We'd like to get your feedback on your family's health. Send your comments by emailing them to whpc@ncc.edu. Podcasts of today's show are available on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. This program was produced at the studios of Nassau Community College in cooperation with the nursing department. Join us next week for another edition of Your Family's Health on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.